What's going on, everybody? It's Jaye the Black here. I am back with another video. Shout out to everybody that is tuning in. I'll put a link in the description box to this particular article so y'all can go and view it for yourself, so y'all can't say I'm misconstruing anything, I'm making up anything. These are facts. I've only addressed facts when I make videos. And I definitely want to talk about the fact that the WNBA makes no money, especially compared to the NBA, and that the NBA is the reason why there is a WNBA. They're keeping the lights on. And I'm going to discuss Skylar Diggins. She plays for the Dallas Wings. And she decided to throw Harrison Barnes under the bus to, I guess, prove a point that WNBA players should be paid more. See, this is the type of entitlement, which is why a lot of women can't find themselves a suitable husband. Because one, men aren't looking to get married anymore, okay? And two, women feel more entitled every single day. I just did a video about a bride who canceled her own wedding because family and friends would not help her pay for her $60,000 wedding. And because her then fiance gave her a reality check and told her they need to have a cheaper wedding, and she decided to break off the relationship with him too. So y'all can go check that video out. But it never ceases to amaze me how in 2018 women can say anything and the media runs with it and they make it into this huge story. And the reason why I'm speaking on this is because this article has been sent to me by a lot of people. They want to know my thoughts on this. Okay, I did a video about Candace Parker. She plays in WNBA, and her ex Sheldon Williams. Okay, and I believe she has to pay him spousal support. And she has to pay him alimony. I did a video on it, y'all can go check it out. But she paid him $400,000 in alimony in their divorce, and she's in the WNBA. Okay. Now, the thing is that WNBA players, they don't make the millions and millions, especially not the middle to lower end of the rosters. I'm not sure what the top WNBA players make. Okay, but I believe she's getting paid under $1 million. Okay. The thing is that nobody is watching the WNBA product. Okay, let's just be real about that. No one, not even women, are supporting the WNBA in strong numbers. Women have spending power. Okay, if women want to go get new hair, they're gonna support these businesses that have the hair that they seeking. They want to buy certain clothing, shoes, whatever, beauty products. But when it comes to the WNBA, there's a lot of women who aren't interested. See, women want to be where everybody else is at. Where the most attention is, women want to be there. Women want to be front row, or they want to be at NBA games. They don't want to be at WNBA games unless it's the championship game. That's what Skylar Diggins and others who are complaining about their salaries need to understand. No one's buying your jerseys. Women aren't going out and buying your jerseys. Women aren't going and buying season tickets, PSLs. I don't know if NBA has PSL, but I know NFL teams have personal seat licenses or whatever. But no one's buying the product. You should take that up with marketing. The WNBA needs to be marketed. ESPN is doing whatever they can to market the WNBA as much as they can. But no one cares. But how can you throw Harrison Barnes under the bus because you're in your feelings because you're not getting paid what he's getting paid? The NBA makes it makes billions. It's $1 billion entity. Of course, those players are going to get a big piece of that revenue sharing. They have a better CBA than, let's say, the NFL. They're on par salary wise with Major League Baseball. So when you look at this complaining, where's the article at? According to the Smoking Cuban, it says in an interview with Wealth Simple, Skylar Diggins Smith, because she just got married, I believe recently, in WNBA's Dallas Wings, talked about the concerns of the wage gap between WNBA players and NBA players. The big concern is that Diggins Smith focused on was not necessarily the number of zeros, but the difference in how much the league revenue players receive from each league. So let me get this straight. You're not concerned with the money amount, but the revenue share? Then maybe you should take that up with the people who are running the WNBA. Because last time I checked, the NBA was the ones who were making sure that you're getting paid. They're making sure that you're making money. We have to take that into consideration. But of course, men are always going to get blamed. Not the people who are running your league, but you're going to blame men who have nothing to do with your situation, because it's so easy to throw men under the bus. I won't get too in depth on these issues because they do need to be resolved, but it's not as simple as people want to believe on either side of the argument. Something does need to change though. That much is clear. The reason this pertains to Dallas Mavericks fans is because Diggins Smith brought up Harrison Barnes when talking about the difference between her pay and an NBA player's pay. Here's what she said. I'm the highest paid player on the Dallas Wings and my salary is a low six figures. Harrison Barnes, the highest paid player on the Dallas Mavericks, made $24 million last season. He's definitely younger than me. Do you know his stats? Was he an all-star? I mean, it doesn't matter. But last year, I was the first team All-NBA, All-WNBA, which only goes to 5 players. I was also a WNBA All-Star for the 3rd time. So you say you're not worrying about money, but you're pocket watching Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes is the top player on an NBA team. The top player on the NBA team, no matter what team it is, he's going to be making 20 some odd million. So what do you want, Skylar? Do you want there to be an affirmative action rule where the NBA has to basically take millions from their entity and give to y'all just cause? No one's going to your games. Your stadiums are half empty. The people, the audience that y'all want to go for aren't even going to the games. There's a bunch of family members and friends at these games, man. They have more people at their college games than the WNBA games. You have to take that up with the base. You have to get out there and promote your sport. Why are you throwing Harrison Barnes on the bus talking about was he an all-star? Was he all NBA? What does that matter? That's just like saying you didn't win a championship, so you shouldn't be the highest paid player in the league. What the fuck does that have to do with your talent? Now, as Harrison Barnes achieved what the Dallas Mavericks thought he was going to achieve? Probably not. But you should ask Mark Cuban why he gave him that money, because that's the NBA market. The NBA market is if you are a good player or a good to above average player, you're going to command a lot of money anyway, because that's how their pay scale is in the NBA. This was an interesting shot taken at Harrison Barnes, who, to my knowledge, has never said anything against Diggins Smith or the WNBA. And for that reason, I have a hard time seeing it as a shot at one specific player. I think Barnes was mentioned because he is getting paid a lot and he plays in the same city as Diggins Smith. Oh, come on. How are you going to give her a pass for this? See, this is the problem with these local media. They don't want to be accused of sexism, so they go and they give these women a pass for throwing this guy under the bus. Now, I know that she was speaking of the NBA, but she did take a shot at him when she talked about was he an all-star? What about his stats? She was taking a shot at him, and you're going to give her a pass on that? Come on, man. Aside from that, I don't think there was any hostility or bad blood in what Skylar said. It was bad. It was hostility because she's talking about her accomplishments. She's comparing her accomplishments to him, and the way that she phrased it, that's not cool, bro. It's not. Because if it was a dude calling out Harrison Barnes like that, it would be news for days, for weeks. It'd be news. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be trying to get him beefing with the guy. However, it's tough to call out Harrison Barnes for not making an all-star game or an all-NBA team at this point in his career. Yeah, if Harrison Barnes is younger than you, Skylar, that lets you know that he still has years to prove himself to being an all-star. This guy played in college before he went to the NBA. Okay, he didn't go straight from high school. He didn't. I'm not sure, but I don't think Harrison Barnes played 1 year in college. I think he played 2 years at North Carolina before he went to the NBA, if I'm not mistaken. This is not to take. The WNBA has a total of 12 teams. The NBA has 30 teams. That is a big difference in the number of players each team is competing against. The WNBA would have a total of about 144 players, where the NBA has 450. This is not to take anything away from Diggins Smith, who has worked her butt off to become one of the premier players in WNBA, but it's an important thing to realize Diggins Smith has been billed as one of the top talents since the minute she left college. Barnes was not as highly regarded after an unconvincing collegiate career. All I'm saying is that Harrison Barnes is doing well for Dallas. He may not be the perfect player to build a team around, but he has done really well in Dallas. I think Skylar Diggins, no, she does not have every right. Let me just say this. Skylar, the only reason why people knew who you were in college, and I'm gonna tell y'all some real shit. The only reason why people knew who she was in college was because Skip Bayless mentioned how attractive she was. That's the only. Her team was playing well. You know, she went to Notre Dame. They were playing well at the time. But that's the only way I knew who she was. She went viral. People gotta understand. She went viral because Skip Bayless mentioned how attractive she was. That's how people knew who she was. So let's get that straight. I believe she signed with Jay-Z's Rock Nation Management, if I'm not mistaken. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, because Jay-Z brought her a car, which is, you got to side-eye that a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I think Skylar is wrong, is mad at the wrong people. The marketing of your league is terrible, okay? Women are not supporting you as much as they could. So being upset and feeling some type of way about Harrison Barnes, putting his name in it, when Harrison Barnes is a decent player, and the person who wrote this article basically said he's a decent player. The NBA market is a lot different. There's a lot more money in the NBA. There is. And I feel like when you have females like this who can't accomplish anything, they're always looking to throw some man under the bus in order to prove a point. But what point did you prove, Skylar? You're basically saying, I'm a woman, I work just as hard as you, I should make the same as you. When most of the people in your league can't even dunk and don't even play defense. Like, come on, man. Why should women get extra credit for being female and being good at what they're doing? That makes no sense to me. So you should get a pass. So especially for calling this guy out, talking about he's not an all NBA, he's not an all-star player where he was good enough to get $24 million a year. In a league, you know what I'm saying? In a league that is very difficult. Okay? And the market was set. Mark Cuban paid to have Harrison Barnes on his team despite the particular market. So what we need to do, Skylar, we need to stop pointing fingers and look at what we're doing individually to promote the sport. Because I don't see y'all out there doing massive amounts of interviews and going out there and promoting the league. you know, doing certain things to engage the audiences. Maybe she is. If I'm wrong, again, y'all can tell me in the comment section. So instead of complaining, you could use what you have as far as your markability to help the league, to promote the league. But y'all don't. Y'all want an easy access to making money, and that's what's wrong with a lot of these corporate America jobs. They're filled with a bunch of women who have gotten there because they're female, and they may be a minority, and these women want equal pay, and they're not even doing equal work. They're doing half the work but want the same amount of money. You know, that's why you see more men becoming entrepreneurs, being self-employed, so they don't have to deal with that crap in the workplace. The females getting promotions because they're female and having to deal with them complain every single day to HR for the littlest thing. But in this situation, I think that Skylar got to look herself in the mirror and look at the people who are running your league. Because if it wasn't for the NBA and guys like Harrison Barnes, there would be no WNBA. That's pretty much just all I'm saying. But y'all let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts.